Planet Vero Studio is powered by the Nolan Group of eXp Realty. MyNextHomeFinder.com.
Treasure Coast Connector. Connecting residents and businesses of the Treasure Coast. And here's your host, Ellen Contreras.
Well, welcome to Treasure Coast Connector. I'm your host, Ellen Contreras. My company by the same name is one of the show's sponsors, and we help business owners to create awareness of their products and services in the marketplace through websites, social media, lead generation, PR, video production. All the details are on my website, so please visit www.tcconnector.com or call 772-925-4557. Treasure Coast Connector, the show, puts a spotlight on local business owners. Everyone has an interesting story of why they do what they do. When we learn about them and do business locally, it strengthens our local economy. Back in June, I had the pleasure of interviewing Wesley Harvin, an attorney and president of the estate trust and elder law firm covering the entire Treasure Coast. And he spoke about the practice area, all the ways in which he and his team help their clients. He wanted to come back and speak about a topic and go into a deeper dive as it relates to senior citizens. We work so hard, whether we're amassing large amounts of assets or a few, protecting our hard work and legacy is important. And Wesley has a lot to say about this. So welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me back.
Yep. And I addressed you like your mother did by calling you Wesley, but you go by Wes.
That's fine.
So yeah, I'm a little bit formal, but I'm really glad to have you back because it was wonderful to learn about you, and the law firm. But for those that maybe have not heard the first segment, what made you want to become an attorney?
I wanted to practice law with my dad, Wes Harvin Sr., who was an elder law attorney in Stewart from the 70s up until just recently he retired.
Okay. Very, very good. And so we spoke about the different practice areas, but we're going to talk about seniors. You felt that this was a very important thing to laser focus in on. And why is that?
Absolutely. Well, for several reasons, not the least of which because those are our friends and our neighbors and our family members, our siblings, and in some cases ourselves, especially in this area. And those are the questions that I get asked the most, not only by my clients for themselves, but by other family members who come in maybe for smaller things. I'd like a deed, or I have a question about maybe something that happened at work. But since I've got you, Wes, Mom's getting a little older, Dad's getting a little older. What should I start to think about? There's just a hunger for the knowledge and for the tools that are out there. There's a lot of understanding, but there's some misunderstanding about what tools that we have to actually help someone for their will or their trust, or in some cases for long-term care or care in a facility. And I take every chance I get to try to educate people on the tools they have.
Very good. So I was saying in the intro that, leaving an inheritance, is a nice thing to do,
Definitely.
And also maybe spending some of it on yourself too with a last hurrah is lovely,
right. Yeah.
Maybe the adult children may not agree with me, but too bad. But so how people are living a lot longer.
They are.
So how are you helping them navigate this as it relates to Medicare and health expenses? It's really kind of scary. We all want to live to a ripe old age and have a lot of money in the bank and just fall asleep and not wake up. But that doesn't always happen. Sometimes people get sick and need care. So what do they do?
Very, very true. And I think a good plan, a good team, which would include an attorney as well as whatever health care professionals are involved in the family. Health, we all try to help and put life in the years and years in the life, as they say. Increased lifespan and health span. So my primary goal, well, actually, to be perfectly frank, my first goal is whatever their first goal is. If a client comes to me and they say the most important thing to me is X, Y, and Z, then that's also the most important thing to me. But ideally, I can accomplish whatever the client's family goals or charitable goals are at the same time as I make sure that they have enough resources or their assets are positioned properly to help them get additional resources so that they can have the best life that they can.
Yeah, you hear about all of these things about having to spend down, and there's look backs and all of that. So
sure.
So are you helping people navigate all of that?
Absolutely. That's very much what we do. And when we're talking about these types of things, we're in sort of a subspecialty of general estate and tax planning that's sometimes called Medicaid planning.
Okay, yeah, that's confusing for everyone. So go into depth on this, please.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's confusing even for a lot of professionals. And it's definitely one of those areas of law where, as they say, a page of history is worth a volume of logic. It doesn't make a lot of sense unless you look at it from the perspective of this is a program, and to be precise, Medicaid. Medicaid is what I'm talking about when we're discussing long-term care.
Okay.
Not I fell down and I scraped my knee. That's Medicare.
Okay.
Short terms, Medicare. Medicaid, long-term care. Memory care related issues would fall under Medicaid. It unfortunately seems to be the case that sometimes our family members who are otherwise quite healthy of body start to suffer from memory care issues. And so the question comes about, I don't need care for the next 5-10 days, Wes. I need weeks and months or years of skilled care.
Yeah.
And at an average cost of almost $11,000 a month, how many of us can bear that for 5 years?
Sure.
5-10 years? Maybe not so much. So when we are talking about these issues and we're talking about Medicaid, our plan is to take a financial snapshot of the family. Look where they are right now. Compare that to the Medicaid regulations. And we could do a deep dive here on the chapter and verse, but suffice it to say that I have almost everyone that comes to see me or comes to one of my talks. We give free talks every month at least, if not more than.
Good. Okay.
If not more than, and attendance is increasing every time. And a question I often get is, how could I possibly be eligible for any sort of assistance? I have a home. And I heard you have to have nothing. I heard you have to be out on the street. I heard you have to be bankrupt. Well, that's not the case. That's not the case. We have a lot of tools that we can offer family members to preserve a lot of their inheritance and legacy and still get the family member the care that they need, that they've been paying for with their taxes for their entire adult life.
Okay, so now I have this question, just because I recently was at an event at Regency Park, and that's here in Vero, and it's a really beautiful retirement facility. They have a memory care facility also.
Oh, yes, of course.
It's one of many gorgeous, beautiful places that if my mom was still alive and needed to go there, I would feel very comfortable putting her there.
Absolutely.
It's just an elegant, posh place. It looks like a hotel.
It's so much better than they were. You know, the word nursing home is not even really used that much anymore because it became so associated with the sort of grim,
right?
Locked door facilities of the past. But now these places, I mean, if you didn't know any better, you think you were in some sort of resort.
Exactly. When you walk into this place, it really is beautiful. You think you're in a lobby of a hotel if somebody didn't tell you otherwise, right? So this is a place that maybe is around $11,000 a month, but I know it's a very high-end place. So would a place like that accept Medicaid? I just assumed that a place like that wouldn't, honestly. So help me out with that.
Sure. And this is something that...
Because if I'm thinking that, a lot of other people are thinking that.
Yeah, of course. So this is a good chance to say that one of the first things we need to do as a team, my office and the family, is try to find the right place for mom or dad.
Okay.
And the place that you just mentioned is a good one, and there's lots of good ones.
Yeah.
And I'm very, very, very proud of the staff that we have at my firm, including our placement specialist, Tori.
Tori Hilton. Yes, I know her. She's delightful. She's actually sitting here in the studio off camera. So it's nice to have her here.
Fantastic. And our Medicaid team, headed up by Doreen in our shop. Very, very good. And when we sit down and we look at these things and we say, what's the right place for you as a family member? It might be the place with the columns and the fountains, or it might be some place that's otherwise close to family, and is perfectly fine in all other ways. Yeah. So we got to choose the right spot, and then inside the spot we got to make sure that they have Medicaid beds available.
Okay.
Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. But as you might imagine, in this in our neck of the woods here in the Treasure Coast, we've got a number of excellent facilities. So I can't think of a time when we've had a client or a family member that wanted care, needed care, was eligible for care, and we couldn't find a good spot for them.
Okay. Well, that is good to know. So I'm looking at the time, and before Cindy waves that take a break sign, that's what we're going to do. But Wes Harvin of the Estate Trust and Elder Law Firm, he has a lot more to say, so stay tuned. We'll be right back.
The kids are back in school and fall sports are in full swing. You're probably finding that the laundry is stacking up a lot faster than ever. Sunshine Laundries is here to help. Hi, it's Tom Rhodes, owner of the Sparkling Clean Sunshine Laundries. We have lots of big load machines so you can wash more clothes at one time. And our dryers start hot, stay hot, and dry fast. Check us out at sunshinelaundries.com for locations and special coupons and offers. Sunshine Laundries, we clean your clothes, but he cleans your soul.
Who's got time to clean? When you need it clean, call Germ Wizards LLC. Using the most up-to-date equipment, Germ Wizards pays strict attention to detail. They make dust disappear. Whether you need your office to sparkle, your home to shine, or you want to give someone a great gift, hire the Germ Wizards. It's easy to get a quote online. There's even an online portal to discuss details directly with your cleaning professional. Visit GermWizardsLLC.com. Make dust disappear with Germ Wizards.
Is owning a home your goal? With the rising cost of rent, you could be saving a lot of money by owning your own home. At Caliber Home Loans, we can help make home ownership a reality. Meet with us for a free consultation and get on the right path to buy the home of your dreams. For Caliber, home loans is all we do. We use local appraisers and offer a variety of loan options to fit your lifestyle and budget. Call us today, 844-GO-CALIBER, license number CHL15622, CaliberHomeLoansTreasureCoast.com.
At Compass Pest Control, we focus on killing pests where they live and breed by terminating them outside your home or office before they can get in. Hi, I'm Chris Hudman, owner of Compass Pest Control. We prevent roaches, ants, and other pests from getting inside with a proactive approach. We don't stop there. We also offer lawn and plant health programs. And we'll never sell you something you don't need. At Compass Pest Control, our prices are competitive. Your satisfaction is guaranteed. Get a free estimate. Visit CompassPests.com.
So welcome back to Treasure Coast Connector. I'm your host, Ellen Contreras, and I've been speaking with Wes Harvin. He is an attorney and president of the Estate Trust and Elder Law Firm. We're going to dive right back into this conversation. And one thing, though, that I wanted to say or ask in the first half is for those that are watching, they get to see your contact information. But your main office is in Fort Pierce, but you cover the entire Treasure Coast. So if you could give your main number, your web address, and where your offices are.
Definitely. Main offices are in Fort Pierce and in Stuart. Phone number 772-828-2588. We are the Estate Trust and Elder Law Firm, so our website is ETEL. For Estate Trust Elder Law Firm. .com.
Very good. Excellent. Okay. So we were talking about, helping the seniors navigate, their end of life situation, so to speak. I'm not talking about hospice, but I'm talking about how to wrap up their estate, pass it on, leaving a legacy and all of that.
Sure.
So that comes with a lot of questions. And I am glad that you mentioned that you have a lot of, events, because before somebody actually sits and has a consultation with you, I bet you that these events are great to get a lot of preliminary questions answered, or even getting someone to collect their thoughts before they sit with you. So education is a great thing. So talk about these events. How often do you have them? Like, where are they? That kind of thing.
Sure. Yeah. We always make sure that they are on our website or our Facebook page. Mm-hmm. And lately it's been at least twice a month, if not more. Most commonly in at the IRSC campus in
Mm-hmm.
Port St. Lucie. Mm-hmm. Also at the Finn Center in Fort Pierce. And in Vero Beach at the Chamber of Commerce.
Oh, very good. Is it the Vero Beach Chamber or the Indian River Chamber? The one that's on 14th Avenue? Or
That's right. I think it is.
Okay.
I think it is. And in each of those locations, we're finding that we're starting to run out of space because people come with not only questions generally, but to ask specific questions about their own situation, which is good. That's what I want them to do. I make an effort at every talk to say, raise your hand. That's what we're here for. Mm-hmm. If you have something on your mind, I want to be able to address it.
Okay. And
if we need to go a little bit more in depth and you come see me at one of my offices, that's perfectly fine too. Mm-hmm. So it's funny though, a lot of times the questions are questions that the person has, but as much, if not more often than that, it's a question for a family member.
Yeah.
They come seeking care for loved ones. Mm-hmm. And even when those loved ones can't show. And I'd like to see that.
Yeah. Especially a lot of seniors sometimes will hide the fact that they're not doing so well.
That's right.
And then the adult children find out about it, and then it's time to sit down. So that's a good thing. If you need an idea for Vero Beach for a bigger place, Collab, and I'll give Tori that information, but it's Christina Klingler at Collab. Gorgeous place.
Very good.
So
very good.
Just because I'm a connector, that's what I do.
That's what we do here.
Yeah. But all kidding aside, so another area that you're passionate about helping because of the founder of the estate trust and elder law firm, Michael Fowler.
That's right.
With veterans. So let's touch on that because more and more of our veterans, are aging. So, I mean, of course, we have people, coming into re-entering civilian life at all ages, but a lot of times when they need help, they're also older. So how do you help veterans?
That's very true. The first step for looking at someone's aid that they can get under the VA is the first step also that we do for a Medicaid review, which is to see where the person sits with their finances. And this is a confidential review because we compare that to the regulations at hand. Mm. Now, with the VA, there's the additional element of looking at the person's service record. Different benefits are available for different people that serve during different wartime declarations. Mm-hmm. So it may be that someone who served in 1 year might have more aid available to them than someone who served in another year. And there's no way for a person just to figure that out. We have to sort of sit down and put pencil and paper and say, when'd you get in, when'd you get out? Okay, here's what we can do for you. Oftentimes, we can also then advocate for them with the VA if for whatever reason the letters they've been given about their awards don't seem quite right. Okay. So it's a combination of seeing what they should apply for, and then if they have properly applied for it, making sure that they actually get what they're entitled to. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Very nice. And I think there's been some circumstances where somebody wasn't really aware of something that they were entitled to until you brought it to their attention.
All the time.
That's amazing.
All the time. Well, it as you say, it's a very complicated and changing area of law. New Medicaid regulations come out quite frequently.
Yeah.
Different VA eligibilities can come and go quite frequently. Mm-hmm. So that's why I tell people that come to our talks, if you don't come see me, come see someone. Mm-hmm. It's the knowledge is out there, but you have to go seek it.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, is there anything that somebody should do prior to calling your law firm to put together any type of paperwork that they need to put together, or maybe some preliminary questions that you would like for them to like figure out, before they get to you?
Very good question. Very good question. So the best types of sit-down meetings that we have are ones where my client has brought in any existing documents they already have, even if they're old. Even if they're from New Hampshire 30 years ago, it's still a good guide for me to look at. I like to look at them. And sometimes I tell people, look, I'm going to sit here and try to talk myself out of a job. If there's any way we can make your old documents just slightly amended to make them still good, let's do it.
Yeah.
Let's do it. We don't need to do a whole new set for nothing. So we look at where we look at where we lie. We play the ball where it lies. Any sort of financial information that they can bring in is helpful in an estate planning standpoint, but absolutely vital from a Medicaid perspective. And you mentioned a minute ago a look-back period.
Yeah.
That look-back period is a little bit of a boogeyman. It scares people out there. And it can be scary. For Medicaid, there's a 5-year look-back period from the date that someone is otherwise eligible. And Medicaid looks in that time to see if someone has given money away. And if they find that type of transfer, it can result in a period of ineligibility. Ineligibility for any benefits, leaving the family to pay the $6, $7, $8, $9, $10 or more $1,000 a month.
Right.
So we look at those periods of ineligibility if they arise. But another thing that people don't commonly know, why would they? They don't read the Medicaid regulations for fun, is that sometimes something that looks like it would cause a penalty actually can be explained away or otherwise characterized under the regulations as something that was perfectly permissible.
Okay.
This is a good example of how many tools that we have that people just don't know about to give them a wider eligibility window than they might think.
Okay. Yeah, because somebody might not be incredibly wealthy, but they did want to leave like some family members something.
Sure.
And so they should be able to do that. It shouldn't all necessarily have to go towards, their nursing care.
That's right. And the worst case, and I want to make a point to say this, the worst case scenario is when someone comes to me and they say, my mom needs help. I've spent everything she has trying to care for her. I've spent everything I have trying to care for her, and now we're going to sell the home.
Oof. Okay.
And I say, please stop. I wish you would have come and see me 2, 3, 4 years ago. Stop right now. Let's go into crisis mode and try to save as many of the family assets as they can.
Okay.
Because that's not what the government intended for this program. We can tell that by the law and the way it's written and all the other avenues and tools that are out there. Please, if anyone finds themselves in a situation where you're starting to reach your bottom dollar, then come see someone as quickly as you can.
Okay, so that is the best way to end this show because Cindy's not going to let us keep talking. I would like to keep talking with you.
Absolutely.
And I think the people listening, but this is a great way to end it. So this is a good lesson for people that before their hair is on fire, then at least talk so that they don't ever have to get into that situation. But if they are, then please call.
Absolutely.
And again, the phone number, because we have like 30 seconds.
Call the sooner the better to 772-828-2588.
Very good. Wes Harvin, the Estate Trust Elder Law Firm, thank you so much for being on today's show. And for everybody that is listening and watching, my name is Ellen Contreras, the host of Treasure Coast Connector. I hope you have a safe, wonderful, productive week. And until next week, I miss you already.